Hey YouTube, Brian LCS, thanks for stopping by the channel. In this video, Spider-Man number 9 review. So we're going to jump in and we're going to get into spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, there is your warning. So let's take a look at the creative team. We have Dan Slott writing and Mark Bagley on the artwork. And there's the rest of the creative team. Now let's take a look at the synopsis for you of this issue. So we jump in where we picked off from last issue, where Spider-Man has altered his spider sense and he's getting flooded with danger and warnings from anybody in the New York City who's having an issue, who's in danger. And it's basically driving his spider sense and his head in overdrive. And so we cut to this, couple pages of him just going through the city and really trying to address all of the people that are in danger. Saving a little girl from being hit by a car, somebody's choking, somebody's going to get hit by a car. All of these various different scenarios that he is now being made aware of with his spider sense and overdrive. And then we cut to Bailey, Spider Boy. Now, this is his third appearance now, and we've been getting a little bit more of a reveal each issue. So we see here that he's kind of following Spider-Man and kind of seeing what he's up to. And he makes mention here that Doc Connors, so the lizard, used to creep me out, telling me about the time that Parker altered his DNA. So there seems to be some history here with Spider-Boy that we are not have not been made aware of yet. So more to come on that. And then we see Gold Goblin come in, and he's holding what looks to be a pumpkin bomb, and he throws it at Spider-Man, and he reveals that it is an old bomb that he kept from the Green Goblin, or found from the Green Goblin. And so what we find out is that it is an old Green Goblin pumpkin bomb that had the ability to shut off Spider-Man's spider sense. So basically, negated it for a few hours. And so Norman uses that to help bring Spider-Man back to his lab. And then we cut to Electro. So Electro was introduced last issue. He was on a robbery, kind of a heist. One of his friends tipped him off. He ended up killing his friend. And now we see that he has hit pay dirt and he has a ton of gold. And he quickly realizes that he maybe should have hired some help to help move this gold. So now we're back at Oscorp, and Norman is trying to work, help Peter get his spider sense back to normal. And Peter kind of asks what's going on. What did you hit me with? And Norman explains about the gas that negates his spider sense for a few hours. And then Peter pops up and says, "Look, I've got dinner at Aunt May's. I made a promise. I need to get out of here." And quickly, before Norman can even react, Peter is gone. And then we got to Aunt May's, and we see they're having a nice dinner. Peter is there. We've got Robbie Robertson and his wife, Jay Jonah and his wife, and everybody seems to be having a good time. And then we get a knock at the door, and in walks Norman Osborn. So there's certainly some looks at Norman because everybody obviously knows that his past as the Green Goblin. Peter just is trying to reassure the group here that he's okay, that he's a changed man. And this kind of reminds me of the scene from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie when Aunt May hosted Thanksgiving dinner and Norman showed up. So kind of a little interesting little twist that they included that reminded me of that. And Jay Jonah's kind of going at Norman a little bit back and forth. He's not buying it, and I think we need to remind ourselves that both Jay Jonah and Norman know who Spider-Man is. They know that it's Peter Parker, and so they kind of have a vested interest in keeping him safe, at least at this point right now. Then we see that Aunt May has a little accident. She's trying to get something off a shelf, and she slips. And Peter reacts and saves her from getting hurt. But that the spider sense being triggered basically now started to trigger all of the danger messages coming in with his spider sense from across the city. And so he makes a quick exit, like, I need to get out of here. And of course, the group is, kind of scratching their head, why? And then we see Norman following, Peter, and J. Jonah following Norman, and basically just saying, hey, what did you do to him? J. Jonah's questioning Norman. He thinks he's up to something that has caused an issue, for Peter. And Norman reassures him he hasn't done anything. He's just trying to help him. And then we see him, transform into the Gold Goblin. And then, boom, in walks Spider-Boy again, Bailey. And he's questioning what's going on with Norman and Gold Goblin. And again, the Gold Goblin is basically trying to defend himself, saying, look, he's working with Spider-Man. And Norman wants to know who's Spider-Boy? Who is this? And he says, look, I'm Spider-Boy. You should know me. He basically comes to admit that he's Spider-Man's sidekick. And then he swings off. So I certainly think we're going to get more development of that Spider-Boy story and how they're connected. My guess is it's probably a different dimension, not Earth 616, that maybe they have a history in one of the other dimensions. That's my guess. And now we catch up with Peter Parker, Spider-Man. He's swinging through the city again, his spider sense going haywire. And so as he comes across people in danger, he is swinging in to try to save them, regardless of what the situation is. And so again, we see this kind of montage of different events. We see almost a domestic violence situation that he stops. Somebody's fallen on the subway tracks and he helps save them. And then he's wondering why everybody is in danger. And then there's a big explosion, which leads him down one of the subway tunnels and ultimately stumbles upon Electro's hired help, who's helping to remove the gold that we saw earlier. As Spider-Man swings into action here, he's getting overloaded again with his spider sense tingling, and he's trying to figure this out. Because he's putting these hired help of Electro in danger, his spider sense is reacting, and so every punch and kick and move that he makes is causing his spider sense to even go more haywire, because he is the source of it, because he's putting these guys in danger. So, but he's ultimately able to overcome it, but he's still a little, it's kind of taken its toll on him. He's a little, foggy in the brain there because of the spider sense going off. And then we see a big electric bolt, and in walks Electro, proclaims that he's going to be the guy who kills Spider-Man. And that's where we end up. That is the end of the issue, and to be continued in the next issue. And here's the look ahead at issue number 10. So, overall, pretty good issue. Pretty straightforward storytelling. We got a little bit more reveal of Spider-Boy. We see Spider-Man dealing with this overdrive, his spider sense and overdrive. We're dealing with a classic villain. I think this is the first time we've seen J. Jonah in a while, in both Amazing Spider-Man and in Spider-Man here. So interesting to have some of those supporting characters back that we've seen over the years with Spider-Man. So, overall, I really enjoyed this. I think this could be the best going Spider-Man book right now. Just kind of straightforward storytelling. Spider-Man's dealing with some stuff, and we've got all of the, like I said, the supporting characters that we've known over the years. So, thinking about my 5 webhead system, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, I'm going to go with a 4, solid 4. I mean, given some of the crap that we've had to deal with some of the Spider-Man stories over the last, 2 years, this is pretty good for me. So I'm going to go with a solid 4. But let me know. Let me know what you think. If you're reading this, what do you think of Dan Slott's run? I think there was an announcement that we may get the Superior Spider-Man back. Could Dan Slott? I believe Dan Slott did some writing on that back in the day. So could we see now more Spider-Man stories developing? With that announcement. So, but let me know down in the comments what you think. Well, if you're reading this, what do you think of the book, of the story, of Slott's writing? Bagley's artwork, I think it was done really well. So, like I said, overall, very happy with this issue. So let me know. Thanks for watching.